welcome to BanjoBenClark.com. I'm Banjo Ben, your host here on the website to teach you how to play guitar and banjo. This week is Mandolin Week. We're going to do a pretty intense but digestible lesson study on the key of B major. And so what I'm going to do is teach you how to play the scales. But not just teach you how to play the scales. That'd be easy, right? Just... No, I want to teach you several different ways to play the scales in different positions, but why they are applicable. Okay, so then we're going to take those scales, apply it to an exercise that's going to begin to build our strength and speed in the key of B, or at least around those frets that the key of B is going to want us to play. And then we're going to take a look at some licks that are scale-based and figure out how we should best play them with the different positions that we've already learned. Grab your mandolin. Come over to the website and join me. If you're watching on Facebook or YouTube, here in a moment, I'll invite you to do that very thing. You can join as a GoPick member, have access to this lesson, hundreds of other ones. I've got about a 30-minute video lesson for this one and the tabs for all these exercises and scales. Let's jump right into this one. Hey y'all, let's do a B major scale study on the mandolin. This is going to be a fun one. I've got a lot of stuff for you, but I'm going to break it down for you where you can understand it and you can make it practical, which is really important. You know, a lot of people, whenever you talk about B major on the mandolin, they get nervous because it is a bit more difficult to play in, at least at first. And the reason why that is because you don't get to use as many of your open strings. Let me just demonstrate for you. If I'm going to play a two octave G major scale, it sounds like this. I used every single one of my open strings, but if I was going to do the same thing in B major, just look at the difference. I only used one of my open strings, that was that E string there. So we need to talk a lot about positions, how to maneuver, how to use the most strategic fingers to play these licks. And then we'll spend some time at the end after we get through some of these exercises to look at how we play licks in the key of B. Okay, let's go ahead and throw out the first line of tab there. Here's what I want to introduce to you first, are the three main positions that I think of whenever I'm playing down low in the key of B. Then we'll look at an octave scale up high. But let's first cover three positions just down low that'll get our fingers working. And one of the reasons why we're going to do this and work on this, and I'm going to encourage you to practice it, is because when you put your fingers in the spots where they need to be, no pun intended, it will subliminally begin to introduce your muscles to what playing in B major feels like. So even though it might be uncomfortable, even though it might be harder, I encourage you to do it. Now the first position, I'm going to call position 1. We're going to start there on the 4th fret, which is a B note. And you'll notice that I have those little squares around a few of those notes. Those are the root notes. So whenever you see a square around a fret, that is our root, which means it is a B note. So we're going to start there. And you'll notice that beneath each one of the notes, I also have the little numbers in circles. Those are our fret hand fingering numbers. So 3 is our 3rd finger, ring finger. 4 would be pinky. And so we're going to go 4, 6, which is automatically a bit awkward if you're not used to using your pinky. 4, 6, come up, index, 1, 2, 4, 6, 1, 2. So that's our first octave of B major scale, starting in what I would call position 1. Go ahead and get used to that, and then come back down, starting in measure 3. Now, if you're not familiar with B, that could likely be the first time that you've ever played a scale based out of that position. But many of the times that we're going to be playing in the key of B, we're going to be jumping down to this first position where our first finger's covering this first fret, because we're going to use it so much because this note, and this note are all in the B major scale. So we're going to be coming down here, so let's get used to being down there. Now let's look at another position. Starting here in measure 5, this is also going to be a common position whenever we're playing out of the key of B, and let's play our scale in that. We're going to call this position 2, and we're simply going to shift up so that our middle finger, finger 2, is going to be over that root note. And this time our pinky is going to continue to cover, but we're going to go 4, 6, 8. Now what have we done really compared to the position 1? All that we've done is moved up, and instead of playing this first fret there with our index, we're covering it here with our pinky. So 4, 6, 8, 4, 2. So 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2. So that's a completely closed scale pattern. What I mean by that is there's no, as with position number 1, there's no open strings. And so As I said, it may be uncomfortable at first, but you'll get used to it. 4, 6, 8, 2, 4, 6, 8, 2. And then let's come back down. 2, 8, 6, 4, 2, 8, 6, 4. We'll try to build that strength of that pinky and try to keep our fingers rounded. Okay, now this is a very common position too, especially whenever you get to playing higher up the neck in the key of B. You're going to be in this position a lot. And so we're going to be switching back and forth, which we'll get into later, but I want you to be familiar with that. Now let's look at another one, which is a very, very useful position.